Kiddos, keep your minds clean. This video is for adults only. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, hello there, my friends. Welcome back to the old channel. Oh, you know what I failed to do? Look what I failed to do. I failed to decorate my background. That's what I failed to do. I feel like we're going to make it blue. Yeah, guys, welcome back to the old channel. So glad you're here. Hey, did you see that intro by Baby Gavin? Did you know that that video was recorded before Baby Gavin went missing? That's right, Baby Gavin is missing. He was in his family room crime lab and just went missing. And so now we've got the great 2025 Baby Gavin treasure hunt. He left behind clues as to his whereabouts. This is a game that you're invited to play. About 250 of us are, well, I can't play because I set it up. About 250 of you are playing. It looks like we've got like 28 people on the board. It's a hard game. It's a treasure hunt. There are clues left behind. There are 20 steps. And the best thing about this game is that it is making new friendships over in the fish tank. So, hey, I invite you to play the game if you want to. I notice here, I'm going to incept myself for a second. I didn't that most people are not playing. Most people are not playing, and that's totally cool. But if it is your thing, I invite you to play along. And if you can't quite figure out a clue, head on over to the fish tank on Facebook and clan up. Get a teammate, work together, and I think that you will find that you'll make it through. Just a quick, standings check in. Hungry Hacker 3 he or she is on 9. Clue number 9, solved 8 of them. Hopeless Wonder 89 is solved 7, is on clue number 8. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 that have solved 4 clues. And then, it goes down from there. You guys, so the prizes on here are 1, you get to brag about it. And 2, you get little merch gift codes. So you can get some Gavin Fish swag. So I invite you to do that. And thank you for those of you who are playing along and for indulging me as I shamelessly plug the game that I created. Okay, let's get to the real reason we're here. We are on video 99 that we have done. This is the 99th time you and I have come together to talk about the case of the SAM murder of little Madeline Soto, 13 years old. On February 26, 2025, her mother's on-again, off-again boyfriend was supposed to drop her off at school. Indeed, he said he did. He said he dropped her off a little ways down because she was embarrassed of his car, but he got her to school nonetheless. And then in the afternoon, she was nowhere to be seen. Well, when police investigated, they found that Mr. Stearns was lying. According to them, he murdered her and he discarded her body in a most irreverent, disrespectful, and unloving way possible. And in their investigation, they found evidence that he had been SAing her since she was about 8 years old. Now, Mr. Stearns is scheduled to begin trial. That should begin with jury selection on Tuesday, the 22nd. And you and I were together just last night, just one day ago. And we watched a hearing that took place yesterday, going over some last minute motions before the trial begins. And at the end, we heard this. Let me play it for you. This is the prosecutor talking.
Matter, Your Honor. We are intending to bring a whiteboard or TV for the presentation of evidence next week, so as to protect as much as we can the sensitive nature of the material that we must show to the jury.
The sensitive nature of the material that we must show to the jury. Let's continue.
Logistically, I just wanted to bring it to the court and defense's attention.
Will this be on a cart?
Yes, it's on wheels.
So what do you need from me? Place to put it?
We can bring it up when we are intending to use it. I just wanted the court to know, because I know sometimes the court is going to need to get down to view the evidence. I anticipate that we'll put it over closer to the jury so that the family, who is also potentially going to be present, will not have view of it. Also, other individuals in the courtroom.
Understood. Thanks, I understand it. Evidence is obviously of a sensitive nature and is unlawful in and of itself. I am...
Okay, pause there. Not only is the evidence sensitive in nature, but it is unlawful in and of itself. So he's only talking about one thing, and that is the CSAM. They are going to present it to the jury. Let's continue.
To provide the courtroom on the afternoon of the 21st, if you want to wheel your equipment up or have your tech folks do so. Gameplay how you would like to present that. The attorneys will obviously have an opportunity to move about the courtroom as they need to observe evidence. Mr. Stearns also has a right to view the evidence being considered against him. So,
Bang. Okay. So not only is the jury going to see the evidence, the court, meaning the judge, is going to see the evidence. The attorneys for Mr. Stearns may see the evidence, and Mr. Stearns himself has the right to see any evidence that is brought against him in this case.
we're going to have to accommodate all of those competing interests to ensure that the jury has an opportunity to review the evidence that the state intends to present. Does the state intend to close the courtroom or request a closure of the courtroom during the presentation of any testimony or evidence?
Now, we're going to talk about this in a moment, because this is something that probably, in my opinion, probably should be done. I think the court should be closed for this. I don't think anybody else needs to see any of it. But let's see what she says. They're going to whisper amongst themselves for a moment. They're not sure.
Your Honor, that is the intention of utilizing the whiteboards, that only individuals that have to view the content. We do not.
Indeed, the jury has to view the content.
Have a surviving victim to testify in this case, so I don't know that we necessarily have a right to close the courtroom for any of the proceedings. However, due to the sensitive nature of the material that is going to be presented in the form of actual videos and photos and things, the state intends to utilize the whiteboard in an effort to prevent other individuals that do not need to see that evidence.
I anticipated some of the evidence was multimedia, and I didn't know whether it had sound or what the state's position was going to be.
There are, I believe, 5 counts that are video with sound.
If the state makes a determination that closure of the courtroom is warranted pursuant to statute and victim rights, Marcy's law, I'll ask that that's your intention. You present that in writing, we'll address that. Give the defense an opportunity to weigh in on that request.
Okay, so we're going to pause it right there. So she is saying she doesn't believe she has the right because the victim in this case did not survive. Of course, the victim we're talking about here is Madeline Soto. She is deceased, police say, at the hands of Mr. Stearns. So the prosecution doesn't believe that they have the legal authority to close the courtroom in light of no victim that is surviving, right? So I'm wondering if maybe I've seen in some places they will give the jury headphones so it's not broadcast out to the so the audio isn't broadcast out to the court. But this, guys, this is what we were wondering, and a lot of you were talking about in the live stream last night, saying, I cannot believe he has the right to see this. And some of you have even said, I think maybe he is taking this to trial so he can see it again. And I I mean, I don't know what is in that guy's brain. I just have no idea what's in his brain other than criminality and wrong one. Sorry, and abuse of children. I have no idea, but it warrants a closer look at what is CSAM, what are like the rules and regulations surrounding it when in a courtroom. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you, if you will come over with me to the old Acrobat, is this document right here from the year 2006. This is an act of Congress. It is called the Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act of 2006. Of course, this is named after Adam Walsh, the son of John Walsh, who most of us know through America's Most Wanted, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. His son was violently murdered and abused. So that's what this act is. We're going to go over to section 504 of the act. I put in the wrong thing. Let's see. I think it's page 43. And the redactions are mine. Because it's YouTube, you guys see what CP is, right? This is an act from 2006, and so it uses old terminology. It means CSAM. That's what we call it now. So let's just go over section 504. It's really brief to understand what the federal law is. Now, what's happening with Mr. Stearns is a state issue, but let's talk in the United States what the federal law is first, and then we will move over to the state of Florida, okay? All right, Section 504 states, it's titled Prevention of Distribution of CP Used as Evidence in Prosecutions. Section 3509 of Title 18 United States Code is amended by adding at the end the following: prohibition on reproduction of CSAM. In any criminal proceeding, any property or material that constitutes CSAM, as defined in the other section, shall remain in the care, custody, and control of either the government or the court. Next paragraph. Notwithstanding Rule 16 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, a court shall, not may, shall deny in any criminal proceeding any request by the defendant to copy, photograph, duplicate, or otherwise reproduce any property or material that constitutes CSAM as defined by the section before, so long as the government makes the property or material reasonably available to the defendant. Now, what is reasonably available? What does that mean? For the purposes of the previous subparagraph, property or material shall be deemed to be reasonably available to the defendant if the government provides ample opportunity for inspection, viewing, and examination at a government facility of the property or material by the defendant, his or her attorney, and any individual the defendant may seek to qualify to furnish expert testimony at trial. Basically, what that is saying is like, no, the defense does not get, as is customary and required by law in the discovery, they do not get copies of this material. They are given ample opportunity to inspect, view, examine that evidence at a government facility. They do not make copies. And I was wrong about that before. Like, well, this is federal law. We're going to get into state as well. But I always just kind of thought, well, it's evidence against him. He has a right to view the evidence. But it turns out that's not the case. I doubt that the attorneys took Mr. Stearns and went in and looked at the evidence. I bet the attorneys went and looked at the evidence. It's possible that Mr. Stearns got to see it, which is horrifying and disgusting. It's possible. But anyway, that is Section 504 of the Adam Walsh Act. Now, in Chapter 827 of Section 71 of the Florida statutes, this is paragraph 5A and B. I got to show it to you. Come on, Gavin, push the right buttons. Let me get a drink of water here. And guys, thanks for bearing with me with my voice here. I'm getting little pieces of lozenge in, so I'm trying not to have that lisp as if I have candy in my mouth. So I've broken up the lozenges into little pieces. Okay, 5A. This is the Florida statute. Give me just a second. Sorry. Okay, it is unlawful for any person to knowingly possess, control, or intentionally view a photograph, motion picture, exhibition, show, representation, image, data, computer depiction, or other presentation which, in whole or in part, he or she knows to include any sexual conduct by a child. The possession, control, or intentional viewing of each such photograph, motion picture, exhibition, show, image, blah, 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 is a separate offense if such photograph, blah, 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 includes more than one child, then each child in each photograph, blah, 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 is a separate offense. A person who violates this section commits a felony of third degree, punishable, blah, 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 blah. This subsection does not apply to material possessed, controlled, or intentionally viewed as part of a law enforcement investigation. So on the state level, I cannot find any statute that, like the Adam Walsh Act on the federal level, gives the defense opportunity to inspect an exhibit of CSAM that is intended to be used in court against their defendant, against their client. But I believe, based on custom tradition, they probably did go and see the evidence. That's my guess. I mean, I think it would go against the rules of criminal procedure if the defense weren't given access to discovery. And of course, it can't be duplicated. It's only legal to be possessed as part of a law enforcement investigation. So they can't possess it, but I imagine that they have seen it. That's my guess anyway. Now let me just check my notes. Let me just check my notes. Yeah, so no publicly release, no open display. That's the first thing. So CSAM is never published, displayed, or entered into the public record like other types of evidence. The material is explicitly shielded from public view. This is done to protect the identity and dignity of victims and comply with laws prohibiting the distribution of CSAM, even in court proceedings. So that is what they're talking about with the television screen being shown the jury. Let's see. Yeah, it must remain in law enforcement or court custody. Can't be copied, shared, distributed. Is only viewed under controlled, secured conditions. We've gone over that. Defense access under strict supervision. Designated government facilities. Yep. I think that we've gone through that. There was some information that I found that said that sometimes CSAM is not used in trial, and it is typically, in those cases, described in words through testimony. So they would have like a police officer who saw it testify to what they saw. But in this case, according to the video that we just watched, it's going to be shown to the jury. And the court, meaning the judge, the attorneys, and Mr. Stearns has the right to view it. Now remember, he's going to be in a leg brace. So I don't know how he's going to get up and view it. Like, how's that going to happen? But I guess they'll figure out the logistics of it because I have no clue. All right. So that is the presentation that I wanted to give you today. Let's go over to your comments. This is my favorite part. Let's quit the poll real quick. Give me a second. 77% of you, 78% of you say the great 2025 Baby Gavin treasure hunt is not for you. 8% say you gave up, and 14% said yes. And listen, you can change your mind at any time. You can jump in. It's an open invitation. No guilt, no pressure. We just did it to have a little bit of fun. So please come on over if you want to do that. All right, let's bring little Miss Maddie girl up and let's go over to your comments. Scroll up to the top here. Robin Bernardi saying that I am upping my game lately. I do like the description of great and powerful. It does ring true that I'm just like a little tiny man behind a curtain. I just want everybody to have fun. You know, we talk about such dark things all the time that I want to have fun. All right, you got the background lighting. We're good. Huggin Demon says, I suspect that Stephan Stearns is responsible for baby Gavin missing. Oh, I hope not. Come on now. Baby Gavin is an innocent little guy. Just leave him alone. Tara is new to the channel. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here, Tara. Pretty awesome. Kathy says I should sell 8x10 glossies of Baby Gavin. That's funny. All right, let's get into... Okay, Susan Lewis. Gavin, I know it's evidentiary requirement for the defense to see all disclosures from the prosecution, but I think SS has other motives for wanting to see CSAM. Yeah, he would. He definitely would. JoJo's Crime Lines and Mysteries, who I know is playing the treasure hunt, says, I remember in some of the jail calls with Mommy and Daddy, Stephan Stearns mentioned that the lawyer brought him discovery and he had been going through it all day that day. That makes me sick. Well, the good news is he wouldn't have gone through that part of it. He wouldn't have gone through that part of it for the reasons that we just discussed. I bet he smiled when he heard that, the sick pervert. I'm not sure which, but Jojo says not sure exactly what discovery it was the lawyer brought him, that it was not mentioned, but I can only imagine. I bet it's more reports that he got to see. Oh, Rose is trying to pick fights, but it's cool. It's cool, Rose. Thankfully, this case isn't being tried in Massachusetts, or else Stephan would be found not guilty like Karen Reed. Okay, we can all get along no matter what your opinion is about Karen Reed. Yeah, we can never think like him because we're not sick like him. A couple more things. KC32, Stephan Stearns should not be allowed to see what he did again. The judge should look at it and then make judgment of what Stephan Stearns needs to see. He's not testifying, so why should he see it? He might testify, but the reason that he should see it is it's his constitutional right. It's enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. That which amendment is it that says we get to face our accusers? Let me look that up. It is, I think it's the 6th. Yeah, the 6th Amendment of the Constitution guarantees a criminal defendant the right to see the evidence against him. Specifically, it includes the right to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation and to be confronted with the witnesses against him. This is known as the Confrontation Clause, and Brady v. Maryland. There are a whole bunch of due process and criminal rules that that guarantee that. I mean, it's guaranteed by the Constitution, but that is the reason. I mean, and here's the thing: like, I think it's gross, and I think it's disgusting that Stephan Stearns is going to be able to see the collection of images and videos that he created of Maddie. I think it's gross and I mean, like, horrifying. However, I also am a big fan of the rights that are guaranteed by the US Constitution. If and it's not a slippery slope argument that I'm making here. It's just that all of us, we want to be able to avail ourselves of those rights if we are in a position where we're being prosecuted for a crime. So even the bad guys get those things. Yep. Tara says, hope I feel better soon. I am doing my best and I am getting much better. Thank you. Stephanie says, are you aware of anyone close to Jennifer Soto speaking out about her guilt or innocence? I feel like I'd screamed to the rooftops in defense of my family. I have not heard bupkis. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. JoJo's Crime Lines and Mysteries. Would there be any legal recourse if the legal team took cell phone pictures of the evidence and gave it to Stephan Stearns to review at his leisure? Yes. It would be illegal for them to do that. We read the statute of what of what you're guilty of by doing it. If they took cell phone pictures of that material and distributed it to Stearns, yeah, they would the lawyers would have 60 counts against them. And I think Stearns would have 60 more counts against him. They would not jeopardize that. Plus, they're probably normal, decent people who go, ew, gross, disgusting. We're going to do our job because it's important to the legal system, and the fidelity of the legal system is the most important thing. We're going to defend this client, give him a rigorous defense. But ew, that's probably how they feel. So yeah, they won't be doing that. If they did, oh my goodness, there would be some serious consequences. Gross. Crime and consequence. That is gross. That motion has not been filed. No. Yeah, those photos and videos will have a huge impact on that poor jury more than a testimony. It will. It will for sure. The only thing that I can maybe say that's a little bit of a consolation is that at the end of the day, they're going to be able to say, if he's found guilty, that they put a monster away and that they knew in their heart that that was the monster that needed to be put away. And I've brought this up before, many, many times. I served on a jury that was a double homicide. I had never once in my life seen forensic photography or evidence that was real, of real victims, real death that had never, human death that had never been in my life before. And there was a little bit of a, well, it's presented in a very forensic way, in a very professional way. And I've never had a problem with bad dreams or anything like that with the forensic evidence that we were shown in that trial. I understand that it's very different from what would be shown in this trial, for sure. But I do hope that the jurors will get that almost insulation, that protection against the kinds of, I guess, the kinds of mental ramifications that could come about having seen stuff like that. I hope so. Shay loves baby Gavin. Well, Shay, you should get busy trying to find him in the great 2025 baby Gavin treasure hunt. You should definitely do that. Susan, thank you very much for gifting those memberships. Very awesome. Carol says, What if they can't pick a jury because the potential jury pool, say, for example, say they could not view the CSAM and be impartial? Well, that will definitely be part of the voir dire process, 100%. I'm confident that they'll find a jury. You and I, all of us, we live in this little true crime bubble where we feel like everybody's paying attention to this stuff. So that's number one. I think that the jury pool is vast. Number two, there will be people that are like, no, no, I cannot handle this. And if that is the case, I think that the court and the attorneys will excuse those jurors. I really do. I hope that's the case anyway. So hopefully they'll be able to get it. I think they'll be able to get it. The judge absolutely needs to clear the gallery for the presentation of the CSAM. I think so, especially on the video part of it. Also, like, they need to be very careful about what is reflecting in people's glasses and stuff like that. They've got to be very, very careful. One Man's Trash says, I may be silly, but I just can't understand why he would take this to trial. It's so incredibly damaging. I think I kind of figured it out. I think that he's taking it to trial because he cannot afford to plead guilty to this because so much hinges, so much of the case against him on the murder side of things, the next case, hinge on what happens on this case. And it's guaranteed that he's guilty if he pleads guilty. So I think that's why he's taking it to trial. And again, professional waffler right here. So I've waffled back and forth on that, but I've come to Duty Ron's side of things on this. I think that's the reason. Yeah, so let's see, he continues, and then he has the murder trial after this. It just doesn't seem like a good strategy. I think he has to. Let's talk disabilities. Wasn't Maddie's mom or Stephan Stearns a substitute teacher at one point? That was Jennifer Soto. Yes, Jennifer Soto was a substitute teacher at one point. KC32 responds to my comments. I get that. It just boils me. Think when there's no doubt evidence like this, maybe a different law, sub law, praying for the jury. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And thanks for being respectful as I disagree with you, because I love on our channel that we can be friendly and disagree on things and see things from different points of view. I just love that about this channel. I'm really grateful to my mods for making that happen. Wonder if his parents are on the witness list for him. Probably. Yeah. One Man's Trash. The material can't be duplicated in any way, right? Right. No duplicating. I think law enforcement, as part of their investigation, can duplicate it technically because they would have to take it from the Google Drive onto, say, a thumb drive. That would be a duplication. And then they keep their file and they give a copy of the file to the district attorney. That would be a duplication. But they are the law enforcement arm of it, and so that is legal. They can't just be making copies and throwing them out windows and giving them to friends and stuff like that. That would be a horrifying crime. They can't do that. Sandra says, I have a friend who lives in Kissimmee and she's not followed the case. She knows about it, but not all the stuff we know. So yes, there are people in that area who can be on the jury. Yeah, think you're right. Think you are right. Great comments tonight, guys. So glad that we've been able to spend a little time together. Let's real quick. Hey, since we've got new people here on the channel, my website isn't just a place where you can play the great 2025 Baby Gavin treasure hunt. It's also a place where you can read my Crime Cod articles. Crime Cod is a website that I created that is a true crime website. So if you like to check out and read articles on crime, you can do Crime Cod. I've got my blog posts up, and then centerpiece of my website really is the case files that I keep on cases that are super important to me. So please check out those case files. Those case files, by the way, might be a location of one of the clues that baby Gavin left behind in the baby Gavin 2025 treasure hunt. It's a terrible name, the Great 2020 or whatever. But anyway, check out the website. I'm very, very grateful to people who support me on Patreon. I've noticed several new Patreon supporters. So grateful for those of you who support me here on YouTube, gifting memberships, uh, watching and commenting and liking. I love your subscriptions. But check out the website. On my support me page, guys, remember how I told you how awesome my mods are? My lead mod is Autumn. Please, if you feel so inclined, buy Autumn a coffee. She deserves it. My the people who are on my team are volunteers, and I appreciate each one of them. While you're on my site, if you click on this little fishy thing, that will take you over to the tank, where we're coming up on 5,000 members. We're not quite there. Facebook likes to round up, but we talk about all things true crime, including the videos that we do. The treasure hunt's a big one right now. Yeah, other cases. So come and join us if that is your deal. And if you're going to join the treasure hunt, the tank is a place where you can find alliances. It should be fun. All right. I don't think there's anything else other than we hope for justice for little Miss Maddie, who, I mean, trial against her murderer and abuser begins on Tuesday, and we will be covering that here on the channel. We will be covering it. Anywhere it's live streaming, we will be on it. Okay. Are there a couple more comments before we go tonight? Let me just real quick. Do I think Stephan Stearns will take the stand? I do not on this one think he'll take the stand, but I always reserve the right to waffle and be wrong. T. Lee says, why are there two cases? Why are they not included in one? Because the CSAM case is the aggravating factor for the murder case. So they divided it. So if they can prove the CSAM, it adds an aggravating factor to the murder. And they can he then becomes qualified for ye old DP. Brittany Perez says, as much as I'd like to be on the jury so I could have a hand in finding him guilty, but I don't think I could handle it. I feel for the jurors in this CSAM case. Yeah, I agree. Totally, totally agree. JoJo's Crime Lines and Mysteries. Any clues on number 2? No, I can't give you clues, but there are people that have found clue number 2 that you might want to befriend. I would suggest maybe you sidle up to Autumn. She's a good friend to have, by the way. So let's see. Looking for that jail call. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. The jury doesn't have to be impartial to the evidence, right? They need to the jury. That's a good question. The jury needs to be. They need to be I guess I don't understand the question. If they see the evidence and it gives them like the total ick, they're not going to be impartial about it. They just need to have an open mind about Mr. Stern's guilt or innocence and not prejudge it until they've seen all the evidence. That's what it boils down to. And then Don't Dox Me said, sad thing about this all is there's a lot of perpetrators who will get away with abuse for a live VIX because of the decision to share CSAM media, and that sharing would make any VIX. Yeah. When we had Anna Soto on over the past 3 weeks, she talked about how the patients in the prisons that she worked with, which were predators, that she worked with as a clinical social worker, she found that they were mostly not caught for the essaying that they were doing. It was something else like distribution of CSAM. So yeah, a lot of these folks have lots and lots of victims. All right, guys, thanks so much for spending your time with me tonight. I deeply appreciate it, as I have said ad nauseum, but I really feel it. I really do. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you here tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, as we always do. Until then, I bid you adieu and ask you, nay, command you to take care of yourselves. Good night. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.